New Hampshire has always been a small town state, known for its pride in freedom and in nature. The state motto explains it perfectly: live free or die. From that, you can get a pretty good feel of the residents in New Hampshire. At first, they might seem a little standoffish, but in all honesty, they don't really care what's happening. They just want to be free to do what they want and do their redneck stuff and have fun. If you've been thinking about relocating to this state, in this video I'm going to cover the things that you should be expecting and know before making the move to the state of New Hampshire. At first, I'm going to cover the aspects that are crucial to know before making the move to New Hampshire. Because again, this is a small town state with a population of only 1.37 million people. It ranks in the top 10 of the least populated states in America. So if you're coming from a bigger city because you want some peace and quiet and escape the big city type deal, just understand if you're moving into the country, you're going to get just that. Peace and quiet in the country. So public transportation is going to be the first point I want to touch on, because a lot of people that move here from the bigger cities are shocked when they find out the lack of public transportation in New Hampshire. Why they're shocked, I don't really know. It's a state of 1.37 million people. There's not a lot of people here, so not really a big need for the public transportation. And I will say, unless you're in one of the bigger cities in New Hampshire, bigger cities, I'm saying like 100,000, like Manchester, Concord, these types of cities, they might have some public transportation. But just know that if you're moving to New Hampshire, you're going to need to get a car. It's just the simple fact. Because again, if you're not inside one of those cities, chances are you are going to have to drive to get to the things you want. But the nice part about this is you can have a nice secluded piece of land, 5-10 acres and a house, and only be like 20-30 minute drive from all the things you need. All the stores, the shops, the gyms, the food, the attractions, all those things that you want is a short drive, but yet you feel nice and secluded and having your privacy in the woods. Taxes are the next thing I want to touch on. And if you've been researching seriously about making the move to Hampshire, chances are you've been on Zillow looking around at some houses and you've probably noticed, hey, property taxes on homes are extremely high. Why is that? Well, first things first, you are reading those numbers high. We do have extremely high property taxes compared to other states. Now, the reason we have these high taxes is because we don't have a state sales tax or a state income tax. Now, there is a tax on prepared food, but I believe that's nationwide. So, to make up for the loss in taxes, I guess, of not having a state income or sales tax, we get hit really hard on property taxes. I kind of look at it as it evens out type deal. I mean, I'd rather the way it is because I like to pay the price that I see at the store. And this is why New Hampshire's kind of like Florida in the fact that a lot of retirees are going to look at this state as a good state to move to take advantage of the tax benefits. Another thing that may shock some people making the move here is the age of the homes. Because New Hampshire's an old state. It was part of the original 13 colonies. So you're going to see a lot of homes built in the early 1900s. Even before that, the 1800s. I just showed a house yesterday that was 1824. So you're going to have to be aware of that fact. Because if you're moving from a bigger city with all these brand new built skyscrapers and condos and apartments that are spectacular, just understand you're moving to an older area that has older homes that have turned into apartments. So even if you're looking for an apartment, chances are you're going to be getting an old house that they turned into apartments. Now with this, you're going to get a bunch of cool features in the old homes, like pocket doors, the high ceilings, the tin ceilings, a bunch of detail in the woodworking, and actually quality built homes. But you're also going to get kind of the downsides of it. You're going to get the old foundation, which surprises a lot of people that are not from here, seeing a fieldstone foundation that looks kind of sketchy, even though it's solid as a rock and not going anywhere, kind of makes a little people weary, you know? And then you're also going to have to deal with like slanting floors in the house. It's not that the house is falling down or going anywhere, but guess what? It's been settling for the past 100+ years, so there's going to be some slants. And the reason I wanted to mention this is because so many people come to New Hampshire looking for a perfect, brand new condition, absolutely amazing house. And you can find those, but depending on the price point you're looking at, you might be looking at some of the older homes, and you just have to realize that these older homes are going to come with some quirks and just kind of some things you're going to have to deal with. And this video can't be a video about what to expect when moving to New Hampshire if I don't mention the weather in New Hampshire, right? So the awesome part about the weather in New Hampshire is we experience all 4 seasons. The bad part about the weather in New Hampshire is we experience all 4 seasons. So right now we're in springtime, and spring's always a weird time in New Hampshire because the weather always likes to be real moody coming out of winter. Like in the past 2 weeks, we've had 75 sunny, absolutely brilliant days. I've been out on the motorcycle just basking in the sun. And then 2 days later, it's 45 of a high, rainy. That night it hit 28 degrees, and it's just weird to get used to because you're like, what the heck? It was just 75 and sunny. Now I'm back down to 45 and rainy. So it's a little weird coming out of springtime. Then when you move into summer, summer's an awesome time in New Hampshire. There's so many lakes you can go to, mountains to hike, trails to adventure on. It's just a great time. And weather in the summer is pretty good. You're going to see usually highs around mid-80s. You're going to have the occasional 100-degree day. But the one thing I do want to mention about the summer in New Hampshire is we do get humidity. So if you're coming from a western, southern type state, just expect humidity to be part of these numbers, because mid-80s to you is probably like, oh, that ain't bad. I'm coming from Texas where it's like 110 by noontime, which that is hot, don't get me wrong, but we have humidity that makes it feel a lot different than what the temperature shows. And for fall, this is probably the most picturesque time to come see New Hampshire, see all the leaves changing, the weather's cooling down, you can just smell fall and football in the air, and it's a great time that you just want to kind of like grab a hot cup of apple cider, a blanket, go sit in the field, and go home and watch a movie or something. It's just an amazing time. But during the fall, you get leaf peepers. Now, what are leaf peepers, you may be asking? Well, these are people who come from other states to come see our leaves change colors because they think it's so pretty, which it is. But they can be kind of a hassle. They can be a little silly on the roads, drive really slow, and get quite frustrating. So you're going to hear the term, oh, the leaf peepers are out again. So you will hear that. Then when we move into winter, we get cold weather, very cold weather, and a lot of snow, with an average yearly snowfall of 174 inches or 14 and a half feet roughly. It sounds like a lot. In some winters it is a lot, but like last winter, it was a pretty mild winter snow-wise, but you just get these random massive snowstorms of 12, 18 inches, and then you can have other times where it's nothing. And another thing I want to mention is winter's kind of weird in New Hampshire. Winter can start as early as October. There's been times going out trick-or-treating where there's snow on the ground. Then it can also last until April. My sister's birthday is on tax day, and sometimes we're outside with a sprinkler out there when we were kids, or we were inside or sledding in the backyard because there was snow outside. So it definitely lasts a decent amount of time. Some are shorter than others, of course. Another thing I want to touch on is U.S. News actually ranks New Hampshire as the second safest state in crime rates and violent crimes, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's actually #1 in the country in corrections, meaning we actually put people to what they deserve. So I really like that. And another safety feel of New Hampshire, like I've grown up in New Hampshire my whole life. I've never not felt safe in New Hampshire because literally ever since I was a kid and still now, I know numerous amounts of people, countless amounts of people that just leave their home unlocked when they go to work, when they go to grab stuff, they leave their door unlocked. They leave their keys in their car overnight with the doors unlocked. They leave the keys in the car with the car running when they go to grab a soda in the gas station. You just have like a trust factor in New Hampshire. Of course, every state has these people that aren't good, but most people respect your stuff. They're gonna leave it be. They're not gonna go up and touch it. They understand, hey, that's their property. That ain't mine. Why would I go take it? I just feel like New Hampshire's a really safe state. Again, there's some bad parts where drugs have gotten a little bit too big, but I believe every state, every city has those types of areas. The last thing I want to touch on is that New Hampshire actually ranks #1 in opportunity nationwide, which is pretty crazy. With the cost of living coming in at 102.5 compared to the national average of 100, it is a touch more expensive than other states. But the median household income is roughly around $88,000 compared to the national average of only $69,000, so you do get a little bit more money here. And New Hampshire only has a poverty rate of 7.2% compared to the national average of 12.8%. So we're doing pretty well, I would say, in that matter of fact. And if you're looking to make a move out to New Hampshire and you still have some questions after watching this video, feel free to reach out to me, shoot me a text, give me a call. I'd be happy to answer any other questions that you might have, because I can't answer them all in one video or know what you're thinking. So if you have certain questions, feel free to give me a call. But just know that New Hampshire's a little hidden gem. It's a great state to live in. I absolutely love it. I've thought about moving, but it's just a hard state to move from because there's so many good things here. I get everything. I get mountains, I get beaches, I get lakes, I get fishing, I get winter, you get it all here, which is really cool. And the one thing I do want to say before I leave this video is if you're looking to move to New Hampshire and you are mainly looking to move because you're sick of the way your state is governing things or running things and you just don't like it, feel free to come here. But don't bring that shit along with you. If you're moving to another state because you want to get away from that stuff, don't bring it to your new state. Because, again, New Hampshire's a small town feel. We like the way we live here. We like things not changing that often. We're kind of a little bit probably old school compared to the rest of the country. And we like it that way. So if you're looking to move here and you don't want to come accept our way of life, you don't like the way we live, this isn't the place for you. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is just kind of my honest little part about New Hampshire because it is a great state. I don't want to see it get ruined because I like living here. So, I will catch you guys in next week's video.